Yeah, Tom, thanks. You're absolutely right. Insider threat is a bigger problem as of today, and I'm interested in finding out as to how do you distinguish yourself from some of your competition, and like our company uses the portal and they are proactive and providing us some of the information. So would be interested on how regularly are you screening the employees?
So, yeah, no, it's a great question. So all of our alerts are continuous 24/7, real time. So as an example, we will pick up on criminal arrests within 15 minutes of booking and be able to deliver that through the application. We differentiate ourselves because we operate as a consumer reporting agency, which allows us to operate with FCRA trade level credit information on delinquency and debt, which gives an organization a much faster view into individuals that have financial problems or on a path to financial hardship. So we're not waiting around for public record information. We're delivering the detailed patterns of that activity up front. It's a big differentiator. I think what we do from an employee consent perspective and all the legal compliance that we've built into the application is fundamentally different than anything that's out in the market today.
Thank you.
So as a former CISO, I'm fascinated by all the different ways that companies will be inventive in coming up with solutions to help organizations deter the insider threat. So I'm curious, sort of take a different angle. To what extent has blockchain been influencing or is part of your vision with the company?
It's interesting. We're looking at blockchain technology right now to manage some of the initial input of the employee PII information that comes into our application. And it will play a role in our strategy. So we're delivering this as a cloud-based service commercially. We're delivering this as an on-premise solution in the government market. And I think blockchain plays a much more significant role on those on-premise deployments. What we do, though, in most cases is we'll bring that employee PII into our environment, connect to the alerting sources, and then drop and eliminate all the PII thereafter, right? So we're managing risk on kind of both sides.
No, thank you. Thanks, Tom.
I'm mixed and torn, Tom. I really like the concept. I'm struggling with whether you're the new LifeLock for the federal marketplace from the outside in.
Right.
I'm also looking at some of the insider threat, which actually sounds like fraud alert, right? Real-time fraud alert. What is your behavior? Where are you going? Any of the threats that you have. You've talked a number of times about the privacy being at the forefront and being built in. Talk to me a little bit about how you make corrections and what you do, because you can't really opt out if you want the job and you're employed. So how do you make corrections to privacy issues? And then my follow-up question would be to talk a little bit about your pricing model.
Sure. So we partner with and work with some of the leading labor law firms in the country, including Littler. That helps us create sample consent forms that can be compared to existing policy and help facilitate the capture of that consent, which in sometimes needs to be modified and other times does not, right? And again, that depends on whether we're talking about an FS86 population, a commercial employer. Typically what we see on the commercial side is organizations are going to identify job functions that represent the highest risk within the organization and expand the use of the application from there. And everything about our system lends itself well for them to start small and then expand over time and capture consent in a way that's appropriate for their organization. To our pricing model. So we sell this on a subscription basis based on the number of employees that are in the system. And again, that allows them to start with a smaller number of employees, get comfortable around the policy, and then expand that over time. And we're just increasing the scope of the annual subscription license.
Thank you.
30 seconds.
All right, Tom, I'll try and squeeze in here real quick. I'm concerned about the data. What are you doing with my data? You know, I consent. Where's it going? Who's storing it? You said you don't like to keep it.
Customer, yeah, so we don't, all the data is accessed and exposed only to on the customer side, not on the ClearForce side. No data ever leaves the system. Everything's self-contained. Yeah. Everything's encrypted at every point in the process. All the natural security and controls you'd expect for customer PII exist. and the data never leaves the system unless you decide on an individual employee, unless you make the decision that you want to terminate the database.
Time. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Excellent presentation, Tom
Thank you.
Miller from ClearForce.